Hey guys, it's Zach here with the same beanie as always, but a brand new episode. So right out of the gate, Kirito gets told that the Volo family has this belief that soaking their sword in their enemy's blood will make them stronger, which kind of goes into that whole if the person believes in themselves enough that they are actually more powerful than they truly are. It appears that Volo has been in these 1-point duels longer than he's actually been in the academy, making him a lot stronger than your typical student in the sword academy. The duel starts off with them drawing their swords, both of which gains a bit of attention from the gathering crowd. Honestly, in my opinion right now, just kind of skipping ahead a little bit, Volo's sword really isn't all overall that flashy. I guess if it works, that's great, especially if you're just kind of going for that raw strength. But I mean, kind of wish it was a little bit more flashy. I know in the light novel they kind of show it off a little bit more. So, oh my god, guys, this fight. I really want to hold on to my opinion. It's going to be super hard. So I'm just going to really try to just tell you what happens. So Volo opens with his special move that everyone kind of knows about, which is nicknamed the Avalanche. We kind of see that it's powered by all of his family, just kind of like the history behind that sword is what really gives him. Thankfully, Kirito stops him with his 4-strike hit, which is really cool. On the 3rd strike, he stops the attack but almost slips. But he tells himself he cannot fail here. He has this vision that starts with Alice and Eugene, and then all of his real life friends, with Asuna showing up last, which causes him to just get this amazing amount of power. Then all these glowing lights kind of start showing up, and then they all just kind of shoot to him, causing his freaking sword to grow in size. Like, what? The fight gets cut a little bit, ended by Miss Extra because of the draw. Lena invites Kirito and his group back for a light party. She kind of gives a little more history about herself. They have a little nice heart-to-heart with her explaining that the Surlet style really isn't a style because of stuff that happened, some history between a descendant and all that type of deal, which prevents them from really passing down the true style from generation to generation. So what we get from that is that, so because they can't pass down the real true style, they all have this very unique their own style, which is what they really kind of nicknamed the Surlet style, is because there's not this like everyone knows what's going to happen type of deal. It's all in the next scene. It kind of gets really sad for Kirito. He kind of goes on this night walk. So when he's on this night walk, he runs into Rosso and Humbert. They kind of tell him like, oh hey, good job, here's this, and they slip something into his pocket and they're like, oh yeah, don't get used to it, this is just us kind of being generous because we're so much better. What they had snuck into his pocket was one of the tips of the plants that he had been growing, and it really looks like he's just about to give up hope on everything. He's really sad about the stuff that's happening. Then he's greeted by this voice that tells him, hey Kirito, don't give up, like you gotta keep holding through. If you think you give up now, do you think that's it? Like, you're giving up on everyone on the outside. So the voice tells him to not give up, like, hey, you gotta hold still. Tells him to like really ask for the like help of all the other flowers in this garden. And by doing so, he kind of uses himself as a vessel to take some of the life from the other flowers and gives it back into the flowers that they thought they destroyed. The reason, because they thought they destroyed everything above the soil, but the roots were still there. And that's what the voice was telling them, is like, hey, just because you got defeated this one time, remember your roots. You gotta keep growing from them. They all kind of channel the power of the surrounding garden into them, and we get to see his flowers kind of just grow and blossom, and it was really nice. It was this kind of touching scene. Then it shows a kind of really quick graduating class fight between Volo and Lena. It was really cool. Volo tries to end the fight with using his avalanche move. Lena, just feeling so empowered by Kirito from the day before, was able to stop him. Actually broke his training sword, which is cool, and she was able to defeat him, which is kind of what all Kirito wanted from her, was to be like, hey, I was able to do this because of you. You can be able to do this now. And because of that, she was able to gather up all the strength, she believed in herself, and she was able to defeat him. Then the episode just kind of really jumps ahead again. Not by too much, just a little bit. A little bit of Kirito and Eugene being settled into their new roles of being elite students. They were both promoted into seat 5 and 6, and they were both given their own trainees that they can take care of. Now on to my thoughts. So let me say, I've been hoping this episode was going to be, really good, and I was kind of imagining they were going to give us a little bit more of a tease and maybe not a full taste, but all I can say is they really blew it out of the water this time with no problem at all. This episode was just visually just amazing to watch. The sword fight was stunning. All the light effects that they did was amazing. The choreography that happened in all the fight scenes that we did see was just perfect. Like, I know they've been dumping a lot of money into this, and it's really showing. I honestly got goosebumps seeing Kirito imagine all his friends and seeing his just so lovely wife Asuna, and how his power comes from that Giga tree. That's kind of like him. He is that tree. He is this unstoppable power. Really hope we get to see this sword really show its power by growing in length and strength one time, and maybe seeing him strike down this massive beast using the sword. You've seen it just like grow this gigantic size and just striking something down in one go. I did read an article the other day saying how fans were kind of upset about the pacing and some of the content that they cut out from the visual novel, and how the team kind of just said, hey, we're sorry, we know like it really did kind of upset people, but we got to make these cuts. It's really hard to fit this many visual light novels into an animated series. I'm gonna give this episode a 9 out of a 10. I was really I was kind of thinking we were gonna get like a 5-minute fighting choreography scene, but I understand why they didn't do it. It'd be kind of a lot, especially since we got about 10 or 14 more episodes before we get the middle of the core. Onto some other quick SAO news. It looks like that Japan's going to be getting a gaming arcade that's coming out in the spring of 2019. It looks really cool, but I'm kind of sad. Living in the A, the chances of ever seeing it in person are pretty slim. Like, just none. Looks cool though. We're also getting the 4th DLC for Fatal Bullet. It should be dropping in January 17, 2019. And to my knowledge, I don't think it's the last DLC. I think they're really going to keep extending it as much as possible. Alright guys, that wraps up this week. Tell me what you guys like or didn't like about the episode, or even this video. And what you're kind of hoping to see next week in Nobleman's Responsibilities. I'm guessing we're going to see kind of more of the high life of Alicization. Like always, if you enjoyed what you saw, why not give it a like? And if you didn't, you know which button to hit. If you're new here and want to see more, why don't you hit that sub button? I'm trying to make this a weekly content, and I'll see you guys next week.